From across our own international network, we deliver audit, tax and advisory services to some of the world's largest players in the mining and resources sector.
Whether you are looking for investors, seeking to implement more sustainable operations, undertaking a modern slavery statement, or considering your tax structuring, our team is well placed to assist you.
Good afternoon, everyone. The global mining industry is on a journey to zero carbon, and it's fantastic to see the commitment the mining industry is making, which will have huge ramifications for climate change around the world. At EDL, we're committed to working with miners to provide innovative solutions to materially reduce carbon in mining operations. Today, I'll talk about the journey that EDL's been on with our remote customers in Australia to help transition to more reliable and sustainable energy solutions. I'll talk about two projects in particular, Kuberpedi and Agnew, which have been instrumental in contributing to a clean energy future for remote energy in Australia. And then I'll have a go at looking into the future and make some predictions about how we're going to be able to contribute higher and higher penetration renewables in remote projects. So, who is EDL? We're a global energy producer headquartered in Brisbane. We generate more than 1 gigawatt of electricity at 97 power stations across 5 countries and 3 continents. We own and operate an increasingly diverse portfolio of green and clean energy. Our renewables are increasing, and we're now producers of renewable natural gas in North America. Our global operations currently abate more than 20 million tonnes of carbon emissions each year, or about 4% of Australia's annual carbon emissions, by converting waste gases from landfills and underground coal mines into electricity. Since 2015, we've assisted remote communities and industries reduce their carbon footprint through hybridisation of energy sources. The shift is not just due to reducing cost of renewable technologies, but the growing commitment of mining companies to decarbonise and better manage energy costs. All the major miners have made significant commitments to carbon abatement, including Goldfields, our partner at Agnew. The Goldfields' vision is to be the global leader in sustainable gold mining. They're a key partner of ours and a champion of our groundbreaking Agnew hybrid renewable project, which I'll talk about in a minute. These extraordinary actions from the mining sector have of course added fuel to Australia's ongoing energy policy debate. At an industry level, our conversations with mining and other remote customers are increasingly about decarbonising their energy sources. In recent years, we've made great progress making renewables part of the overall energy solution, but importantly, maintaining and improving reliability whilst holding or reducing price. Today, any solution we develop includes a renewable component. This transition is happening very quickly. Why? Because hybrid renewable projects now compete, and in most instances, are more cost competitive than a 100% fossil fuel project, and importantly, if developed properly, can be more reliable. So just a little bit more on EDL's journey and how we came to where we are today. We leveraged the operating knowledge of our 30-year plus business, together with more recently acquired renewable knowledge, to develop our plus 70% renewable energy project at Kuberpedi in 2017. On the back of the success of that project, we had the confidence to develop a 3 megawatt PV solar project at South 32's Cannington mine in Queensland, and importantly demonstrate that reliability can be maintained and improved. From the successful integration at Cannington with the learnings from Kuberpedi, we were able to confidently and successfully develop the Agnew project for Goldfields in Western Australia, which integrates PV solar, wind, battery energy storage, and gas and diesel generation seamlessly together at a remote mine site. Would we have been able to successfully develop the Agnew projects without developing the projects before it? I don't think so. We may have, but I suspect it would not have been completed as successfully as Agnew was. A big part to the successful transition to a more reliable renewable energy solution is leveraging experience gained whilst being prepared to challenge or think outside the box to move forward, but consciously doing it with reliability and cost also being front of mind. All remote projects we look at these days include renewables, and low penetration renewables are competitive for longer than 10-year terms. The amount of ARENA funding needed to get renewables projects off the ground is reducing, and with that the percentage of renewables is increasing. With this trend continuing, we see that in the short term 50% plus renewables in a hybrid solution will be the norm, and in the medium term that will jump to 75% plus renewables for hybrid off-grid applications. I'm now going to talk about two key projects that have been instrumental in our development of sustainable, reliable, remote energy solutions. The first is the Kuberpedi hybrid renewable power station. Since 2004, EDL has supplied power to the town using diesel generation. The town has a peak load of only 3 megawatts, so quite small. In July 2017, our hybrid renewable project was completed, and since then, the hybrid power station has delivered low-cost energy solution, and importantly, the reliability is improved. For Kuberpedi, we chose to integrate 1 megawatt of solar, 4 megawatts of wind, a 1.7 megawatt diesel UPS, 3 megawatt dynamic resistor, and a 1 megawatt battery. Importantly, we provided the Kuberpedi town a guarantee for reliability, and that the supply will be from renewable sources for more than 70% of the time over the 20-year contract term. So, how has the project performed to date? In its first 2 years of operation post-hybridisation, we've seen less than 1 hour in unplanned outages. We've delivered on our target to supply greater than 70% of the generation from renewables, and we're aiming to stay above 75%. To our knowledge, this is the first time this level of renewable energy fraction has been delivered at a multi-megawatt scale. We've achieved a record 97 hours supplying the town continuously from only renewables. Our attention is now turned to the opportunities to capture the renewable energy that's currently spilled or curtailed at this project. Options being evaluated include energy storage and hydrogen production. Our focus at Kuberpedi is centred around integrating all the technologies and maintaining a reliable supply of electricity. These learnings deepened our understanding of hybrid renewables, which we then applied to our next two projects, Cannington and Agnew. It's important to highlight this project probably wouldn't have occurred without ARENA's support. ARENA supported the project every step of the way and ultimately contributed 50% of the project capex in order to make the project commercial. ARENA's support for projects like this has been instrumental in the development of this sector. Next project I want to talk to you about is our Agnew project, which we fully commissioned in May this year. Agnew is Australia's largest hybrid renewable microgrid and the first in Australia to use wind power on a large scale to power a mining operation. The Agnew project replaced an existing network energy solution and now provides goldfields a more reliable, sustainable and lower cost energy solution. We provide goldfields with an average of 50 to 60% renewable energy. I want to congratulate and thank Goldfields for having the longer term vision for the Agnew mine. Without this true customer pull, this project would not have progressed. Their confidence in EDL and ultimately the reliability of a higher penetration renewable energy solution enabled the development of this world-leading power project. Importantly, when we think about the transition to reliable renewable energy, one measure of success is the amount of ARENA support needed to make a project commercial. At Kuberpedi, that was 50%. At Agnew, it was less than 10%. And we're confident now that plus 50% renewable solutions can be developed with no or limited support. Most hybrid solutions combine 2 or 3 technologies, as hybrid systems have multiple random variables and parameters, with complexities arising with the inclusion of each additional energy generation component. For Agnew, we integrated 5 technologies and we delivered the project in 2 stages to ensure smooth integration of the different energy technologies. In stage 1, the power station with gas and diesel generation incorporating solar was built. That stage was completed in mid-2019. Importantly, this phase of the project required no ARENA support. Stage 2 is the more exciting part. That included 5 large wind turbines, each 3.6 megawatts, at a height of 110 metres and 140 metre rotor diameter. So when you look at the flat landscape around goldfields in Western Australia, these wind turbines certainly stand out from a long way away. We also incorporated a 13 megawatt battery and an advanced microgrid control system. In total, 56 megawatts capacity. We have a video that shows the various stages of construction. Some things that are worth noting as you watch the video. The Agnew mine is very remote. The closest town is Glenster, approximately 850 kilometres from Perth. Getting some of the project components to site was very challenging. Each wind turbine rotor is 70 metres long, and these were transported from Geraldton Port to site, which is over 600 kilometres. We needed a 1,600 tonne crane to erect the wind turbines. That's the largest crane of its type in Australia. Commissioning for stage 2 was completed whilst in COVID lockdown, with state and international borders closed. This proved quite challenging because we were relying on specialist commissioning personnel, some from overseas. These and other challenges were overcome, and we successfully delivered the project safely, on time and on budget. Agnew going so far this year? Well, the hybrid project has exceeded our expectations so far. We'd expected to supply the mine with over 50% renewables, but we've managed in favourable weather conditions to supply up to 85% renewables. So what have we learned from developing these projects so far? First off, the design of the thermal power stations, which provides a firming energy component, needs to allow for progressive integration of more and more renewables. This can be done using a modular design. It needs to allow capacity to be retired when alternative forms of energy become viable. Secondly, it's important to include storage to shift renewable generation. Storage is the fundamental enabler that allows cheaper, interruptible renewable sources to be used. Cost and technology is constantly evolving, which will directly influence the overall hybrid solution. Integration is key to the success of these projects. If it's not managed well, reliability and performance will be impacted. For now, I think it's paramount that one party be responsible for the supply of the individual generation components and integration together. There have been poor examples of when this has not occurred and lines of responsibility are blurred and reliability is being impacted. A more optimised energy solution will result if suppliers and customers work together. For Agnew, Goldfields were supportive of this world's first ambitious project the whole way. This resulted in the right balance of risk and reward between ourselves and Goldfields. If the customer looks to push all the risk to the supplier for these projects, the outcome may result in delays or the project never being built. Alternative fuels will play an increasing role in the transition and need to be considered in the solutions now. Lowest cost now may not be lowest cost in 2 to 5 years. For example, renewable natural gas is a prospective fuel for remote application, and hydrogen. We're currently completing a feasibility study supported by the West Australian Government that's looking at powering an electrolyser from renewable energy at our remote sites. The hydrogen from the electrolyser would then be used in a fuel cell to produce power instead of using fossil fuels. We see this as a probable transition for remote stations into the future. We all need to keep challenging the status quo. Suppliers need to continue to develop more sustainable energy solutions, and at the same time, customers need to continue to demand more sustainable energy solutions. So what's next? In the near term, I see 75% plus renewable solutions being developed, importantly with limited ARENA support. Longer term, say greater than 4 years, I see 99% plus renewable solutions being developed. Customers are now asking us to help them early with their sustainable transition plans. Customers acknowledge that plus 99% is not a commercially viable option now, but they want to understand the steps to get there. Why? So decisions being made now don't jeopardise the long-term plan, and importantly, shareholders today are holding businesses and management to account and demanding to see worked up sustainability plans. Shareholders more than ever are considering carbon footprints when deciding on investments. Renewables are now rightfully forming part of the base case solution, and their use will continue to grow. Hybrid renewables can be more reliable than just a fossil fuel solution. So where are we all headed? Energy storage will continue to play a larger and larger part. Emerging fuels such as renewable natural gas and hydrogen will soon become part of the standard hybrid renewable solution. Solutions need to be designed with flexibility to enable emerging technologies to take their place in the future, for solutions to adapt as technologies emerge. And lastly, customers and suppliers must keep working together to optimise hybrid solutions. Taking into account the rate of change in the last few years and the amazing transformation we're seeing across the mining sector in this transition from fossil fuels to renewables, it's exciting to see where this industry will be in the next 5 to 10 years. Thank you very much.
From across our own international network, we deliver audit, tax and advisory services to some of the world's largest players in the mining and resources sector.
Whether you are looking for investors, seeking to implement more sustainable operations, undertaking a modern slavery statement, or considering your tax structuring, our team is well placed to assist you.